Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be talking about Pokemon Legends Arceus, but we're specifically going to be talking about 5 things because I really don't want to do a regurgitation video where I basically just like go over everything in the website and in the trailer. I don't want that. I caught myself making videos like that where I was like, oh, I did one where I talked about all the new Pokemon. Well, there's like 4. But like, I don't want to do that. There's so many analysis videos. There's so many videos of just breaking stuff down. And while those are fun and they serve a very specific purpose, I don't want to do that because I find that I do it very poorly. And I just want to talk about the very specific things that I want to talk about. So I'm going to stick to 5 main things, 2 of which, or 1 of which, 2 of which more or less, is a little loosey-goosey, and I'll kind of like cherry pick the stuff from it that I want to talk about. But I'm going to focus on very specific things so that this is not like a million-hour video. Before I get started, go watch my reaction video to the Pokemon Presents that was out on the 18th. I had a good time. I liked making that. I liked reacting. I think it's fun to watch reaction videos. I think they have more value than break-down videos sometimes, so go watch that. The first thing that I want to talk about is Basculegion. Oh my god. Are they really gonna make me use a Basculin? I have an unbelievable hatred for Basculin. I hate its origins. I hate the idea that they just needed another fish Pokemon for Unova, and then they made it, and it was like, ugh, and then it was everywhere, and it's not even like iconic like Magikarp is. I hate it. And then on top of that, during Gen 6, I was trying to fish for like, I forget what I was even looking for, but I was like trying to shiny hunt, and I caught like 4 shiny Basculin. I'm so over it. But Basculegion is so unbelievably cool. I love that it's water ghost. I love that its lore is that like, it's when a Basculin gets like possessed by the dead Basculin that couldn't make it upstream. And it's very cool. And I love that you can ride it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I think it's very cool. So yeah, I'm gonna probably, I don't know, unless something better comes along, I'm probably gonna end up using Basculegion. The question here is there a blue version? Because we've only seen this red one, but there is a blue Basculin. Not that there's any like inherent difference for it, but like maybe there's a blue version of it and it's like maybe they get separated out like the Shellas do, or it's like, oh, the blue one's on the east side and the pink one is on the west side. And maybe it's the same for Basculin in Legends Arceus. The only other Pokemon that I want to talk about, because although Weirdeer is very cool and Braviary's new form is also cool, I don't have as much to talk about for them. But I do want to talk about a very cute pupper. Growlith is wonderful. Growlith, I think, is like, it's another classic case of a Pokemon that I generally like. I like Growlith. I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with Growlith. But I do really like its form. I like its, I was about to call it a Galarian form. Hisuian form. It does exactly the same kind of thing that like Alolan Vulpix does for me for Vulpix. Again, I don't dislike Vulpix, but hit my mic. But I do like Alolan Vulpix way more. So in this case, Hisuian, I keep trying to say it, Hisuian Growlith is very cool. It is a fire rock type, which is not super great. And it kind of clashes with the idea, because I'm going to choose Cyndaquil for my starter, which I hope gets another, I hope Typhlosion and I hope the 3 final evolutions for the starters get forms. Please. So Growlith kind of does clash a little bit with that, but I'm fine with that as long as maybe it's useful as a rock type Pokemon. Also, super cool, it's based on the Koma Inu, or maybe the Shisa, but probably the Koma Inu. They're basically the same. I guess it's just the difference between like one has its mouth open, one doesn't. Ultimately though, it is based on like a Koma Inu, and I think it'll be really cool if not that there's necessarily a difference, but like if whatever Growlith evolves into, it could evolve into a completely different Pokemon, but it'll probably evolve into a Hisuian Arcanine. But if it has two, maybe it has two evolutions, one that looks, well, no, maybe it has one evolution, Arcanine, but then there's two forms. One where it looks like more of a Koma Inu, and one that looks more like a Shisa. That aside, I like it a lot, and I think he's adorable. I think it's so cute, and I'm definitely gonna catch at least one. I love that they have a little horn on the top of their head, and it breaks easily, so they're very careful about when they use it. And I like that they travel around in pairs. They're buddies. So those are the two Pokemon that I care about the most right now. Moving on, I want to talk a little bit about, it's Galaxy Expedition Team. And basically, it's Attack on Titan. You got your medical core, which, okay, that's not really like Attack on Titan. But then you have your defense core, or what was it actually called? It's not the defense core. It's the security core. And then you have the survey core, Sasageo. And I really love the idea that it's like a team that's split up into different things. They very well could have just had it be like, oh, you have the professor and maybe a couple extra characters, and then they send you off to do whatever, and then that's it. But I like that there's a whole system of characters revolving around this, and like the characters that we meet, Silene, who is basically just like Cyrus. Obviously, she's related to him. And Kamado, who is obviously related to Rowan. I love that the two of them are kind of like, Kamado is the leader of the entire like Team Galaxy, Team Galactic. And then your immediate supervisor is Silene. And I really like that dynamic. We also meet Professor Laventon, which is like, he's kind of that token, like, oh, he's the scientist that comes from outside. And he's joined the team, but he's kind of more well-traveled, I guess, a little bit. He's the professor that gives you your starters. And he's been to multiple other regions just kind of collecting data. And now he's in the Hisui region. And which is funny. It's interesting. Okay, so I wasn't planning on talking about this, and it's kind of not really related to what I was just saying, but the Hisui region, the reason it's called the Hisui region is because, one, I guess Hisui is like, it's got multiple reasons, but like Jade is one of the translations of Hisui, and Jade has a huge traditional and tradition and cultural importance to Japan, but I mean other countries too, but like specifically Japan. And I want to say maybe there's some like exports out of Hokkaido or something like that. I don't know. I don't quote me on that one. The important part is that Jade is very important to Japan as a whole. Not only that, but the reason that the Sinnoh region is named Hisui is because Hokkaido is actually called something else prior to the Meiji Restoration. Prior to becoming known as Hokkaido, it was actually called the Ezochi, like prefecture, whatever. It was originally called Ezochi, and basically Japan took over Hokkaido, and maybe prior to this, Japan proper basically took over Hokkaido because they didn't want Russia and other countries to have it. So that's kind of a little interesting thing. There's way more to it, but just a little extra information. Kind of connected to the team is the Pokedex. I really like, and I'm kind of adding things to this, I kind of really like that, like, once you catch a Pokemon that doesn't actually fully fill out the Pokedex. I like that a lot. You have to do different quests and see different aspects of the Pokemon. So like, oh, they have what kind of movements do they have? Are they skittish? Are they aggressive? And what kind of physical traits do they have? What kind of forms do they have? And honestly, I think there's something a little bit that was going unnoticed for a minute. Joe Merrick, other people might have noticed it too, but Joe Merrick of Sarabi noticed that like a Wurmple has a weird yellow horn coming off of it that it doesn't normally have. So I think what we're gonna see is Pokemon that have unique traits that they normally don't have, and maybe there's like even in an individual species there's unique traits like a Wurmple having a yellow horn coming off the back of his head, but maybe others don't. And it's not a gender difference. I mean, it might end up being a gender difference, but like I think that's already like the length of its horn and the back spikes. So I think this will be something entirely different, and I think that's super exciting. Moving on, I want to talk very briefly about the base camps. These basically are de facto Pokemon centers when you're not in Jubilife Village town. And these are basically Pokemon centers. You can get your Pokemon healed up, as well as probably yourself. You can buy items, and you can craft, which is not really something that we've seen before. I guess the Cramomatic kind of, a little bit. But basically it's like you go around, you collecting items. We've seen, what was it called? Tumblestones or whatever that you can mix with apricorns to make heavy balls. And I think that's super cool. Also, apparently the balls are going to do a little bit different. Heavy balls don't catch heavy Pokemon better. They basically catch Pokemon that haven't noticed you yet. So that's super cool. And since they're heavier, literally heavy balls, they don't fly as far, so that's super cool. Also, there's smoke bombs to help hide you. We're ninjas. The last thing that I want to talk about is the battle system, which is not changing a lot. I mean, it is changing a lot, but it's not like we're not going into, oh, it's like a real-time battle. It's still turn-based technically, but with a twist. And I hesitate to say that it's active time battle either, because it's not like your Pokemon is like kind of attacking on its own anyways, and then you're just like waiting for meters to fill up. Basically how it works is there is an active order, like an attack order list, and a lot of games have this. Final Fantasy X had it. A lot of games have it. I want to say even... Now, don't quote me on this because I've never played the game. Doesn't, like, Bravely Default in some way have that too? It's basically a list of, like, depending on the stats of your Pokemon, the stats of your opponent, it basically lists how often you can attack. And you can kind of modify that in a way with the Agile style and Strong style. If you use the Agile style, you ultimately weaken your next attack, but you can move multiple times in a row, which is so weird because normally it's you fight, they do something, you do something, they do something, and you kind of have to trade back and forth. Now it's totally different. So you might be able to attack multiple times in a row, maybe more than twice, and that's really, really cool. The Strong style kind of does the reverse, where it strengthens your next attack, but it might slow down how often you can attack. So you might be more prone to... So let's say you have a really fast Pokemon, and they usually get 2 attacks in a row anyways. If you use a Strong style attack, maybe it knocks it back down to 1 attack at a time. So that's really cool. I think that adds a lot of strategy and a lot of nuance to the battles that Pokemon has never seen before. And honestly, it makes a lot of sense that they didn't add in, like, battling against other players, PvP, because how would you even, like, I don't know. I think there's a way to do it, but, like, it would be really, really weird, and I get why they didn't have battles, as disappointing as that is. Also, a little bit tangent to the battle system is being able to throw your Pokemon out at any time, for any reason, it seems. Some Pokemon can be used to maybe collect items like those tumblestones or hit up trees. It seems like you might be able to pull out all of your Pokemon at once, because we see that shot after the trainer has caught like the enraged Pokemon, which I haven't even talked about, because as cool as it is, they're basically just bosses. But it seems like we'll be able to pull out all of our Pokemon at once. That's kind of cool, and that, like, expands things a lot. One thing that I've always wanted is to be able to get into a battle and immediately be able to choose which Pokemon you want, rather than the first in your party being thrown out. I think it adds a lot to the strategy, and honestly, it brings it way closer to the anime and how it would work in real life if you were going to battle another trainer. Honestly, I think that's all I really wanted to talk about. I added in a few extra things just because it's, like, really, really interesting. But I'm kind of glad that I didn't, like, kind of regurgitate everything. If you wanted to watch the trailer or go through the website, you could do that yourself. That's all. I am super, super excited. I don't know if I'm going to do this kind of video every time we get information about this game, but I really, really am so excited for Legends Arceus. I think it's got a lot of potential. It could be a little messy in some areas, but I think it'll do a lot more good than bad. Let me know down below in the comment section what you guys are most excited about for this game. What do you think of the new Pokemon forms and new Pokemon in general? Because Basculegion and Weirder are brand new. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. And just let me know what you think. I want to have a conversation about this. I really like talking about Pokemon, and I don't get enough of that in real life. So let me know what you think. And if you enjoyed anything I had to say, make sure to leave a like. It shows engagement. It shows that you want to see more this kind of content. That's it for me. I will see you guys in another video. So long.